Hi everyone, welcome back. In this lecture, let us discuss aggregate functions in SQL. Well, the aggregate functions perform calculations on multiple values and return a single result. They are used to perform operations like counting the rows, calculating the sum, calculating the averages, finding the minimum and maximum values. Alright, so the aggregate functions are pretty useful to perform all these operations. And there are 5 main types of aggregate functions: count, sum, average, min, max. The count aggregate function is used to count the number of rows that match a specified column. Sum aggregate function is used to find the total sum of a numeric column. Average aggregate function is used to return the average value of a numeric column. The min function is used to return the minimum value in a specified column. The max aggregate function is used to find the maximum value in a column. So these are the main 5 types of aggregate functions. In this lecture I am going to cover count aggregate function. In upcoming lectures we will see other aggregate functions. The count function in SQL is aggregate function that is used to count the number of rows in a table or the number of non-null values in a column. It is commonly used to determine how many records match a given condition. So let us go ahead and let's understand more about count function with example. Let's go to MySQL Workbench, and here in order to use the count function we need to have a table with some sample data, right? So in order to create the initial setup, I have written couple of queries over here. So this SQL statement, that is create table statement, to create employees table with columns like ID, first name, last name, email, salary, department, and here insert into statement to insert 6 rows into employees table. So here I am quickly run these two statements, and in order to view the employees table data, just type select star from employees and then execute this particular select statement, and here you can see the output. We have an employees table with 6 rows. Now we have initial setup. Next let us see how to use count function. Well, basically we use count function to count the number of rows in a table or the number of non-null values in a column. So here just type select and then followed by count function, and here within a parenthesis just pass star. So this count star basically counts all the rows in a table including rows with null values. Okay, next let us give alias to this count function. Let's say employee underscore count and then from employees table. Perfect. Next let us select this statement and just execute it, and here you can see the output count 6. And if you execute this select star from employees, and if you can take a look into the number of rows over here, 6, right? So this 6 count we are getting by using this count function. If I execute this statement again, you can see the count 6. So just remember, this count star variant counts all rows in a table including rows with null values, and this is commonly used to determine the total number of rows in a table. Next let us see how to count the number of non-null values in a specified column. For example, in a last name column we have a couple of null values, right? Now what we want to do is we want to retrieve the count for non-null values in the last name column by using count function. Okay, so here in order to do that, just type select and then call count function and then pass the column name, that is last underscore name, and then give alias employee underscore count from employees. So notice here we have passed the column name to the count because we are counting the number of non-null values in this specified last name column, and non-null values you can see the count 1 2 3 4. So this select statement should return the count 4. For example, if I run the select statement, you can see the count 4. Okay, so this is how we can use count function along with the column name to count the number of non-null values in a specified column. Okay, next let us see how to count the number of unique non-null values in a specified columns. Let us say you have a duplicate values in the column and you want to count the number of unique non-null values in a specified column, then what you can do is you can use count method along with distinct keyword. For example, here select count and here just pass the salary column. So here salary column has a duplicate values, right? And we want to count only the unique values in this specified column. So here just pass salary column name and then give alias employee underscore count from employees. Next, if you can go to the salary column and if we can notice the values over here, the unique values 25, 20, 15. So these are the 3 unique values. So in order to get the number of unique non-null values in this specified salary column, what we can do is we can use count function along with distinct keyword. So here just call distinct. So this gives the total number of unique values in this salary column. For example, if I run the SQL statement, you can see the count 3. Okay, and here if I remove this distinct, then it should give the count 6. You can see here. Okay, so this is how we use count function with distinct keyword to count the number of unique values in a specified column. Okay, perfect. Next, let us see how to use a count function to count the total number of employees in the IT department. So here let us write the SQL statement select and then followed by count function and then pass star as employee underscore count and then from employees. So in order to count the total number of employees from specific department, that is IT department, we have to add the where clause. So just type where and then add the condition department equal to IT. Alright, and here in a select statement also add department column so that we can see department along with its count. Next, let us execute this statement and here you can see IT department has a employee count 3. So this is how we can use count function to count the number of employees in a IT department. Next, let us say you want to count the number of employees in a HR department. Then just change the value from IT to HR and just execute it. And here you can see HR department has an employee count 2. Okay, great. Next, let us see how to use count function with group by clause. Well, the count function is often used with group by clause to count the number of rows for each group. Now what we'll do, we'll write the select statement to count the number of employees for each department. Okay, so here just write the SQL statement to use count function with group by clause. So just type select and then followed by the column name from which we are going to group, that is department, and then call count function to count the number of employees for each group. Let us give alias employee underscore count. Next, from employees and followed by group by clause and then department column name. So this group by department groups employees by their department, and this count function counts the number of rows for each group. Okay, so this complete SQL statement basically returns the number of employees for each group. Next, let us select this statement and just execute it. And here you can see IT department has an employee count 3, HR department has a count 2, sales department has a employee count 1. So this is how we can use count function along with group by clause to count the number of rows for each group. Okay, perfect. Hi everyone, welcome back. In previous lecture we have discussed count aggregate function. In this lecture we are going to discuss sum aggregate function. Well, the sum aggregate function is used to calculate the total sum of numeric values in a specified column. It is commonly used in queries to compute the totals such as total sales, total salaries, or total quantities, etc. How the sum function works? Well, the sum function adds up all the numeric values in a specified column and returns a total. it ignores any null values in the column. So let us go to the MySQL Workbench and let us understand more about sum function. So here in a query editor, we have written a queries in previous lecture for count function. So let us copy and take a backup. Alright, and let us remove all these SQL statements and just type select star from employees. So here we have employees table with 6 records. Now let us see how to use sum function to calculate the total salary for all the rows. Okay, for example, here let us type select and then call sum function and then pass the column for which we are going to sum, in our case salary column. Next, let us add the alias by using as keyword. Just give alias name total underscore salary and then from employees table. So this sum function basically adds up all the values and it returns a total. Okay, for example, if I run the SQL statement, you can see the total salary. So this sum function basically adds up all the values in this specified column and it returns a single result. That is what the sum. Okay, so this is how we can use sum function to calculate the total salary for all the employees. Next, let us see how to use this sum function to calculate the total salary for a specific department. So here just type select followed by sum function and then pass salary column and then give alias as total underscore salary from employees. So in order to count the total salary for a specific department, we have to add a where clause and then add the condition department equal to IT. Okay, so in this case, this sum method basically adds up the values that are belongs to the IT department. For example, if I run this query, you can see the total salary for this IT department. Alright, so this where department equal to IT filters the rows to include only employees in the IT department, and this sum salary function calculates the total salary for those employees. Okay, next let us see how to use sum function with group by clause. Well, we can use sum function with group by clause to calculate totals for each group, such as calculating the total salary for each department. Okay, for example, here let us copy this SQL statement and just paste it over here, and instead of where clause just use group by clause over here, group by department. Okay, and in the select statement we have to specify the column name as well. Perfect. Next, let us execute this statement, and here you can see the total salary for each department. Okay, so this is how we can use sum function with group by clause to calculate the total salary for each department. So basically, in real-time project, we use sum aggregate function with group by clause to calculate totals for each group. In this example, we have used sum function with group by clause to calculate the total salary for each department. Okay, perfect. Alright, in next lecture, we'll take a look into average aggregate function. Alright, great. I will see you in the next lecture. Hi everyone, welcome back. In previous lecture, we have discussed sum aggregate function. In this lecture, we are going to discuss average aggregate function. Well, the average is an aggregate function used to calculate the average value of a numeric column. It is commonly used to find the mean of set of values such as average salary, average sales, average scores, etc. And how this average function works. Well, this average function basically adds up all the numeric values in a specified column and divides the total by number of non-null rows. It ignores null values in a column. So let us go to MySQL Workbench and let us understand more about average aggregate function. So here in a MySQL Workbench, we have written a queries in previous lecture. So let us take a backup of these queries. Now let us remove all these queries and just use select star from employees and just run this query. So here you can see we have employees table with some rows. It means we have the setup ready. Next we are good to use average function. So average function is basically used to calculate the average for a numeric column. So here you can see in an employees table we have a salary as a numeric column. So the salary column basically contains the numerical values. So we can use average function to calculate the average of salary column values. So here let us write the SQL statement to use average aggregate function to calculate the average salary. So here just type select followed by the average aggregate function and then pass the column to which we are going to calculate the average, that is salary column, and then followed by let us add the alias name by using as keyword and let us say average underscore salary from employees table. Well, this average function basically adds up all the values in a salary column and divide it by using the number of rows. Okay, so here if I run this SQL statement, you can see the average. So basically this average function adds all the values in the salary column and it divides it by total number of rows. For example, here 25,000. So let me write the logic over here. 25,000 plus 20,000 plus 15,000 plus 20,000 plus 15,000 plus 20,000. So average function basically adds up all these values in a salary column and then it will divide the sum into the number of rows. So number of rows are 6. So this is basically a average. Okay, perfect. So let me remove this, and if I run this statement again, you can see the average salary for all the employees in the table. Next, let us see how to use average function to calculate the average salary for specific department. So in order to achieve this, we have to add the condition in the where clause. Okay, for example, here let me copy this statement and let me paste it over here. And here, in order to calculate the average salary in a specific department, just remove this semicolon and add the where clause and specify the condition here, that is department equal to IT. Next, let us run this SQL statement, and here you can see this is the average salary for IT department. If you want to calculate the average salary for HR department, just remove IT and just give HR. Next, if you execute this query, you will get the average salary for HR department. Okay, so this is how we can use average function along with the where clause to calculate the average salary for a specific department. Next, let us see how to use average function with group by clause to calculate averages for each group, such as calculating the average salary for each department. For example, let us copy this SQL statement and just paste it over here, and here instead of where clause, just use group by clause. So just type group by and then pass the department from which you are going to group the data, that is department. And whenever you add a column in the group by clause, you have to add in the select statement as well. So here just add the department column in the select statement. Next, just execute this statement, and here you can see the output. IT department has average salary, HR has average salary, and sales has average salary. So this is how we can use average function along with group by clause to calculate the average salary for each department. Well, just remember few key points about average function. The average function is only works on numeric data such as integer, decimals, etc. And the average function basically ignores the null values. And you can use average function with where clause to calculate the averages for specific conditions. And you can use average function with group by clause to calculate averages for each group in the dataset. So these are the couple of points you can remember while using average function. Alright, great. I will see you in the next lecture. Hi everyone, welcome back. In this lecture, let us discuss min aggregate function in SQL. Well, the min function in SQL is used to return the smallest value in the specified column. It works with the numeric, date and string columns, and it is commonly used in aggregate queries. Well, how this min function works? Well, the min function scans all the rows of a specified column and returns the smallest value. For numeric columns, it returns the smallest number. For string columns, it returns the smallest value alphabetically first. For date columns, it returns the earliest date. Okay, so let us go to MySQL Workbench and let's understand more about min function. So here in a query editor, we have written a SQL statements in previous lecture. So let us take a backup of these SQL statements. Next, let us remove all these SQL statements from here and just type select star from employees to view the employees table data. So now we have employees table with 6 rows. Next, we are good to use min function. Next, let us go ahead and let us see how to use min function to find the smallest value in the specified column. For example, here we have employees table. It has a salary column. Now what we're going to do is we're going to use min function to calculate the smallest salary in this salaries column. Okay, and if you can notice here, 15,000 is the smallest salary, isn't it? So if we use the min function, we will get the result 15,000. Okay, so let us see that. So here just type select and then followed by min aggregate function and then pass the column name salary. So we have to find the smallest value for the salary column. That's why here we need to pass the salary column to the min function. And then let us give alias using as keyword, and let us give alias name smallest underscore salary, and then from employees table. Next, let us run this SQL statement, and here you can see the smallest salary 15,000. And if you can see all the records, here you can see 15,000 is the smallest salary. That is what we got in the output. Okay. Next, let us see how to use min function to calculate the smallest salary in a specific department. So here we have written a SQL statement to calculate the smallest salary for all the employees in the table. But now what we want is we want to find the smallest salary in a specific department. Okay. So here in order to achieve this, just execute this select star from employees query first, and here we have 6 employees, and if you can see the department column, so there are 3 employees belongs to department IT. Now what we want to do is we want to find the smallest salary among these 3 employees in a specific department, that is IT department. Then how we can achieve this? By using min function. So it is pretty simple. Just copy this statement and just paste it over here. So here basically we need to add a condition. For that, let us use where clause and then followed by the column name from which we are going to add the condition. So department equal to IT. Next, let us run this statement, and here you can see the smallest salary for IT department is 20,000. If you want to find the smallest salary for HR department, you can just specify HR department name and execute it, and here you can see the smallest salary for HR department. Alright, so this where clause basically filters the rows to only include employees in the HR department, and this min function then calculates the smallest salary among those rows, which is 15,000. Next, let us see how to use min function with group by clause to find the smallest value for each group. So here we have written a SQL statement to calculate the smallest salary for only the specific department. But now what we want to do is we want to use min function along with group by clause to find the minimum salary for each department. Okay, so let us see how we can do that. So here just copy this statement and paste it over here, and here instead of where clause just type group by clause. So here we have to group by department column, so just add a department column over here, and in a select statement also we need to add this department column. That's it. Next, let us execute this select statement, and here you can see the output. IT department, its corresponding smallest salary. HR department has a smallest salary. Sales has a smallest salary. So this is how we can use min function along with group by clause to calculate the smallest salary for each department. Okay, great. In next lecture, we'll take a look into max aggregate function. Alright, great. I will see you in the next lecture. Hi everyone, welcome back. In this lecture, let us discuss max aggregate function. Well, the max function in SQL is aggregate function used to return the largest value from a specified column. It is commonly used in queries to find the highest value in a numeric, date or string data. How the max function works? Well, the max function scans all the rows of a specified column and returns the largest value. For numeric columns, it returns the highest number. For string columns, it returns the largest value alphabetically last. For date columns, it returns the largest date. Okay, so this is how the max function works with respect to different types like numeric, string, date. Next, let us go ahead and let's understand more about max function with examples. So let us head over to the MySQL Workbench over here. And here we have written SQL statements in previous lecture. So let us take a backup of these SQL statements. And next, let us remove all these SQL statements and just type select star from employees to view the employees table data. So here we have employees table along with 6 records. Next, we are good to use max function, right? So here just type select followed by the max aggregate function, and here we are going to find the largest value for a salary column. So just for salary column name to the max function, and then followed by let's give alias using as keyword, and let's give alias name as highest underscore salary, and then from employees. Okay, next let us run this SQL statement, and here you can see the highest salary. Well, this max function scans the salary column and finds the largest value, which is 25,000. So if I execute this select star from employees, and if you take a look at the salary column values over here, so this max function basically scans the salary column values and it finds the largest value, which is 25,000. So this is how the max function works. Next, let us see how to find the maximum salary for a specific department. So now we have seen how to get the highest salary for all the employees. Next, let us see how to find the highest salary for a specific department. Let us say IT department. Then how we can use the max function. So just copy this select statement and paste it over here. So in order to achieve this, we have to add the where clause. So here just add a where clause and add the condition, that is department equal to IT. Okay, next let us execute this statement, and here you can see 25,000. So IT department has a highest salary 25,000. For example, if we execute select star from employees, and if you take a look at the salary column values, so IT department has a salary 25, 20 and 20. So among these three, 25 is the highest. So that is what we got the output. Okay, next if you want to calculate the highest salary for HR department, you can just specify HR over here. Next, run the select statement and you can see the highest salary for this HR department. Okay, next let us see how to use max function to calculate the highest salary for each department. So here we have written a SQL statement to calculate the highest salary for a specific department, but now what we want is we want to find the highest salary for each department, not a specific department. Then what we can do is we can use max function along with group by clause. For example, here just copy this statement and paste it over here, and instead of where clause just call group by clause, and then followed by the column from which we are going to group the data, that is department, and then add this department column in a select clause as well. Perfect. Next let us run the SQL statement, and here you can see the output. IT department has a highest salary, HR department has a highest salary, sales department has a highest salary. So this is how we use max function along with the group by clause to find the highest value for each group. In our example, we have used max function along with group by clause to find the highest salary for each department. Okay, great.